Every piece of advice about handling workplace theft has the same fatal flaw, and it's the reason 95% of victims never get justice while their betrayers continue stealing from other people. Today, I'm exposing this flaw and showing you the one approach that actually works. I'm Madison Clark, author of Served Cold: 20 Stories of Perfect Revenge, and the fatal flaw in conventional advice is this: it assumes your goal is to resolve conflict rather than establish consequences. Here's what every HR department, every management consultant, and every workplace advisor tells you to do when someone steals your work. Have a conversation. They suggest you approach the thief directly, express your concerns professionally, and work toward a mutually acceptable resolution. This advice sounds reasonable and mature, but it's strategically disastrous. Let me show you why with two real examples. Sarah discovered her colleague Mark was stealing her client strategies and presenting them as his own innovations. Following conventional advice, Sarah scheduled a private meeting with Mark to discuss her concerns professionally. Mark listened politely, apologized for any misunderstanding, and promised to be more careful about attribution in the future. Sarah felt satisfied that she'd handled the situation maturely. 6 months later, Mark was promoted based on his innovative strategies, while Sarah was passed over for advancement. The fatal flaw in Sarah's approach? She treated theft as a communication problem instead of a character problem. Mark didn't steal Sarah's work because he misunderstood attribution policies. He stole it because he's a thief who faces no consequences for theft. Compare this to Jennifer, whose story is detailed in my book. When Jennifer discovered her colleague Marcus was stealing her presentations, she didn't have a conversation. She started gathering evidence. Jennifer documented months of systematic theft, built an airtight case with timestamps and file access logs, and presented overwhelming proof to management. Marcus wasn't just confronted about his behavior. He was exposed as a calculated intellectual property thief. The result? Marcus was fired immediately. Jennifer received public recognition for her innovative work, and company-wide policies were implemented to prevent future theft. Jennifer didn't resolve conflict, she established consequences. Here's the fundamental difference. Conflict resolution assumes both parties made honest mistakes that can be corrected through better communication. Consequence establishment recognizes that some people make calculated choices that can only be stopped through punishment. Workplace thieves don't steal because they don't understand it's wrong. They steal because they believe they won't face consequences. Conventional advice validates this belief by treating theft as a misunderstanding rather than a crime. The protagonists in Served Cold understand that you can't resolve your way out of intentional betrayal. You can only establish consequences severe enough to make betrayal unprofitable. This applies whether you're dealing with idea theft, credit stealing, sabotage, or fraud. The person who documents evidence and demands consequences always defeats the person who seeks conversation and hopes for change. The fatal flaw in every current solution is that they prioritize workplace harmony over workplace justice. They assume maintaining relationships is more important than establishing integrity. They mistake conflict avoidance for problem solving. But here's what really happens when you follow conventional advice. Your thief learns they can steal from you without consequences, which makes them more likely to steal again. Other potential thieves observe that theft is tolerated, which makes them more likely to steal too. You become known as someone whose work can be taken without repercussions. The book Served Cold is $2.99 on Kindle, and every story shows people rejecting conventional advice in favor of strategic justice. They don't seek resolution, they seek consequences. They don't try to change thieves, they try to expose them. If someone is stealing your work, don't have a conversation about it. Build a case against it. Don't seek understanding, seek accountability. Don't try to resolve theft. Try to establish consequences that make future theft impossible. Click the link below and get Served Cold now. Learn why conventional advice fails, how to gather evidence that can't be dismissed, and why establishing consequences is the only solution that actually works. Because the fatal flaw in every current solution is assuming thieves want to stop stealing. They don't. They want to stop getting caught.